A fix is not validated because the demo works once. It is validated when the old failure is gone under pressure and the invariant is defended with evidence. Today we are connecting fixes to pressure, pressure to invariance, and invariance to evidence you can put in the integrity packet.
So the assignment is not just asking what code changed, but why we should trust the change.
Exactly. A1 expects a validation story, the hidden assumption, the failure evidence, the design response, and the remaining risk. The central question is, what evidence proves the fix works when the system is no longer running in the easy order?
Why is one clean run not enough if the bug no longer appears?
Because concurrency failures are timing sensitive. A broken design can look correct if the unlucky interleaving simply did not happen during that run. Validation is a loop. Rerun the failing case, add pressure, check for regressions, collect evidence, and use that evidence to defend or revise the design.
Where does the design decision enter the loop?
After the evidence. You should not choose a lock, queue, or idempotency key first. Name the property that failed, then choose the simplest mechanism that protects it. Preserve the failing test. If you delete the scenario that exposed the problem, you lose the baseline needed to prove the fix.
What if the failing test is flaky?
Then make the pressure deliberate. Repeat the run, add a delay, log ordering, and turn the flake into a reproducible interleaving. Fix verification means rerunning the exact scenario that failed and showing that the failure no longer appears reliably.
In the podcast example, what would count as success?
If 10 workers try to publish the same episode, exactly one transition should be accepted and the other 9 should be rejected or contained with reviewable log evidence. 2 workers start publish attempts against the same episode and both read draft. That creates pressure at the boundary between observing state and claiming the transition.
What invariant are we testing here?
Only one worker may own a state transition for a given episode at a time. The baseline path reads the status, sees draft, writes processing, and emits publish work. Sequentially, that looks reasonable.
Why did this pass the sequential test?
Because the sequential test never split the read, decision, update, and side effect across competing workers. It accidentally gave the method atomic behavior. Worker A checks draft. Then worker B checks draft before A writes processing. Now both believe they are allowed to start work.
If the final status eventually becomes published, how would I prove anything went wrong?
You need evidence of the interleaving, worker IDs, episode ID, previous state, attempted state, timestamps, and duplicate job starts or rejected stale attempts. The state model gives correctness of vocabulary. Draft, processing, ready to publish, published, and failed are not just labels. They define allowed movement.
So the invariant is not just about the final state.
Right. The invariant is also about valid ownership of transitions. A normal-looking final state can still hide an invalid duplicate transition. A method called publish episode may sound atomic, but internally it can be several separate steps with a race window between them.
Is the hidden assumption that the method runs without interruption?
Yes, the code assumes check and update behave like one conceptual step, while the runtime may interleave another worker between them. Boundary testing increases contention. 1 worker, then 2, then 10, with repeated runs and sometimes an artificial delay between read and write.
Are we trying to make the system fail?
Yes. A pressure test is useful because it attacks the invariant directly. If the fix survives that, the evidence is much stronger. A concurrency fix can protect one path while breaking an ordinary sequential feature. Sanity checks keep the repair from becoming a regression.
Isn't adding a lock enough if the race goes away?
Not necessarily. The lock may introduce weighting, deadlock risk, or changed behavior. You still need regression tests for the features that used to work. Evidence must let a reviewer reconstruct what happened. Operation ID, entity ID, worker ID, previous and new state, timestamp, and repeated output.
Would a log line like published successfully count?
No, it states an outcome but hides ordering and ownership. It does not prove whether one worker or two crossed the transition boundary. Start with a claim like only one worker can claim an episode. Then, build the pressure test and use structured logs to reconstruct whether the claim held.
What would go into the integrity packet from this flow?
The claim, the command or test that created pressure, the structured logs, the invariant result, and a short explanation of why the evidence supports the conclusion. Each approach buys a different kind of safety. A baseline is simple, a guarded transition protects state directly, coordination exposes dependencies, and idempotency controls duplicate side effects.
Which one should we choose?
Choose based on the invariant and the failure mode. The best fix is not the most elaborate one. It is the simplest mechanism that protects the named property with acceptable cost. Compare and set rejects stale state. Synchronization limits simultaneous entry. A single owner queue serializes work, and an idempotency key prevents repeated side effects.
Can I just pick whichever is easiest to implement?
Only if it protects the actual invariant. Ease of implementation is relevant, but it does not replace the design argument. A guarded transition says, update to processing only if the episode is still draft. That makes the check and update atomic.
What proves the losing worker was handled correctly?
A log showing the stale attempt was rejected. Same episode ID, competing operation ID, expected draft, attempted processing, and result rejected. Idempotency protects against duplicate side effects by attaching a key to the operation and reusing the stored result if the key appears again.
Is that the same as preventing the race?
Not always. It may not stop two workers from racing on state, but it can prevent duplicate external effects. That distinction belongs in your design defense. A single owner queue lets multiple workers submit requests, but one owner applies transitions for that episode in order.
What trade-off does this fix introduce?
Latency and possible bottlenecks around hot entities. In return, you get ordered, exclusive mutation that is easy to reason about. This log shape is reviewable because it identifies the event, operation, episode, worker, state transition attempt, result, and time.
What pattern should we expect after a successful fix?
Under pressure, one accepted transition and one or more rejected stale attempts. That is the evidence that the invariant survived the bad interleaving. Before the fix, both workers can read draft and duplicate work may start. After the fix, one claims the transition and the loser is rejected.
Why compare the same workload before and after?
Because the comparison isolates the design change. Otherwise, the reviewer cannot tell whether the failure disappeared or the test simply stopped exercising it. The integrity packet should tell a disciplined story: assumption, failure reproduction, design response, validation evidence, and remaining risk.
What counts as remaining risk if the fix passes?
For example, database-specific compare and set behavior, queue latency, missing coverage for cross-entity workflows, or uncertainty under production-scale load. For A1, choose one object or workflow, state the invariant, create a sequential success scenario, and create a pressure scenario that could fail.
What evidence is sufficient for the submission?
Use concrete artifacts, runnable commands, repeated test output, structured logs, traces, diagrams, and integrity packet entries that explain the assumption and validation result. Use these as oral defense prompts. Be ready to name the invariant, the hidden assumption, the repeatable failure, the evidence, the mechanism, and the trade-off.
What is a weak answer to the mechanism question?
Saying, I added a lock, without explaining what property the lock protects, what behavior changed, and what cost it introduced. The mature validation story is the baseline appeared correct, pressure exposed an assumption, the invariant was named, the fix protected the transition, and evidence validated the claim. As you review your own project, ask where a final state might look correct while the execution path was actually unsafe.